Yes, you guys, welcome back. In today's News Daily video, we're going to discuss the contract extension talks surrounding Christensen, Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger. In the case of Antonio Rudiger, reports are strongly suggesting that he may be set to sign for Real Madrid on a free next summer. And to continue on with the stories, you guys, we're going to learn the latest news surrounding Timo Werner's future. And I've got some exclusive centre-back news to let you guys know about a possible candidate for the following window. So I hope you guys definitely enjoy. Ton of things to break down and discuss today. I have released a News Daily video already, so make sure you guys show us some love and tune in. And without wasting any more time, we start with the first story and let's discuss the latest news surrounding Antonio Rudiger. Now, reports are coming out from goal.com in Spain, and they're suggesting that Rudiger may be set to sign for Real Madrid on a free transfer for next window. This report comes from Mario Cortena from goal.com Spain, and he's saying that Rudiger has his eyes set on a move to Real Madrid. Personally, this would be devastating news. I would not be pleased with this. I'm sure that you guys would not be pleased either, but there are some advantages that Real Madrid do have when it comes to enticing Antonio Rudiger. Now, before I discuss the finances, let's look at the reality in the next summer window at Real Madrid. They seem set to sign Kylian Mbappe on a free transfer for next window. I mean, that's going to just absolutely shake up the entire footballing world when that does happen. And on top of that, there's links suggesting that they are looking to completely revamp the squads in the following window. With so many excellent players being available on a free or for a lot more affordable prices, Rudiger could possibly join up with Mbappe, Pogba, as well as players like Eden Hazard, Vinicius Jr., who is showing to be one of the next big players to just take the footballing world by storm. Rudiger could be the next world-class player to take part in the Real Madrid revolution. Now, another thing that Real Madrid can offer Rudiger is incredible wages. Now, we saw what they did with Alaba in the last window. He was paid over 400,000 a week. His signing on bonus was ridiculous as well. And with Real Madrid set to sign many players on a free transfer next window, they have the income to spend high on wages to entice players. So far, we do know that the club have offered Rudiger 140k per week, which was quickly turned down because, in Rudiger's opinion, he's one of the key players in the club and his wages need to be reflected of that. If he did accept that deal, players such as Loftus-Cheek, Marcos Alonso, Kepa, Timo Werner and many more would be earning a lot more than him. And for me personally, when you've proven to be one of the best players in your position in Europe right now, that has to be reflected in the contract offered. Things are starting to look a bit worrying in my personal opinion. I think that Real Madrid will definitely come back with a bang in the next window, and Rudiger could be part of an amazing revolution. So you guys, that's the first story out the way. I know it's a bit of a negative one, but now we focus on the second big story today. And this story comes courtesy of the London is Blue podcast, where they have a weekly series where they have Matt Law on, who discusses the latest news happening around the club. Now, there's some positives here. Matt Law, of course, gave us some updates surrounding the contract situations of Silva, Christensen, Rudiger, as well as the outgoings of certain players as well. Now, out of respect, I'm not going to just read out all the key bits for you guys. There's going to be a link in the description. I suggest that you guys follow London is Blue podcast, one of the best Chelsea podcasts out there. Give it a listen yourself and, of course, form your own opinions and get your own context. I'm only going to discuss some of the bullet points in regards to news that came out from that podcast. And let's start with the contractual situation right now. The positive news is that the club are close to agreeing deals for Christensen and Silva, and they are opening up new contract talks again with Rudiger soon. So that is a positive. The fact that Rudiger is open to contract talks again tells me that there is a possibility here in which he can stay as long as he is, in my opinion, given the best contract, and he deserves that. He fully deserves that. The reality though with Rudiger is that when these talks do open, this will be in the period where it's going to be January and he'll be free to open and talk to any other clubs that will offer him a great deal. So we still have a lot of work to do here. It's not like we're just guaranteed to have Rudiger committed his future with us. For me, the club are giving bigger contracts to players nowhere near his level. That doesn't make any sense, considering that a lot of these guys may be on the move in the summer as well too. There has to be the finances to keep him, and for me, considering he's in his prime, his experience, we need that balance of world-class prime players mixed with young players with great potential and players that are still looking to fulfill that too. For me, that's the key to success. Let's hope that something can be done, and let's hope that we can still entice Rudiger to stay. However, positive news is that Silva is looking to extend his deal again. We do know that when he agreed upon his other contract extension, that there was another possibility for another 1-year extension to be triggered. And of course, with Silva's ridiculous form, his just everlasting grace and ability. And for me, it says a lot about us that Silva wants to commit his future here. I mean, as a fan base, we've been amazing when it comes to just, making his family feel warm and welcomed. Silva's wife and Bill Silva, she's a real personality, a very lovable one at that too. And they've fully taken on board their life in London. They're loving it right now. So for me, it's no surprise that Silva is going to do right by his family and by his club career as well. In the case of Andreas Christensen, this report from Matt Law is exciting because it does kind of confirm the previous reports that came out last week from Footy Insider, who were the first ones to break that a breakthrough had been made. Now, of course, Christensen had a lot of interest from your Bayern Munichs, your Juventuses, and of course, Barcelona as well too. But Christensen, he's a Corbin boy, man. He's a Chelsea boy. He wants to remain and commit his future here. I think that he's really grown as a player as well too. I've said that since he's grown physically, it feels like it's just made his entire game complete. And even though he may not be in the first team right now, I don't think that's an insult to his abilities. That's just a testament to the great quality we have in the centre-back positions. I don't think we'd say no to Thiago Silva and Trevor Chalobah playing in the team over him right now. But the second any of these guys' level drops even a small percentage, that Christensen will find himself back in that team. So again, competition is hungry in those centre-back positions. Long may it continue, and long may Christensen continue here as well. I definitely think that he does have the potential to be, a real Chelsea cult figure, or even potentially a Chelsea legend in the next few years. We do know that centre-backs don't reach their prime levels until at least 27, 28, and Christensen still has at least 3 more years. So it's exciting to know that at least we've got 2 of these guys close to committing to new deals. But let's now move on to talks of Timo Werner and a potential exit in the summer window. Matt Law does report that there's a possibility that Timo Werner may leave in the next summer window, with big interest coming from Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. For me, this is no surprise, and to be honest, when I heard the recent comments from Tuchel after that game against Man United, he said that when Lukaku is fit and ready, he is without a doubt the #1 striker at the club. What does that say about Timo Werner? It doesn't say too much, you guys, and as I keep telling you, I've been hearing these rumours since before the season started, from the end of last season, that maybe Tuchel didn't necessarily rate Werner as much and was open to him being sold as long as a replacement could come in. Personally, I just don't think that Werner suits our style of play. I mean, he is a good player, but for me, it's all about using players in their best positions. But Timo Werner is a guy that relies upon good service. And another thing he needs is a lot of space. It's no surprise that under Hansi Flick with the German national team, where he has a number 10 behind him, he is scoring a lot more regularly. And of course, in the Bundesliga, which, it just has space for days. It's very open there. He knows that league, he's confident there, and I'm sure that he'll go back there, maybe an even better player for it, and I'm sure it'll be a lot more successful. To know that we could command a lot of money for a sale is exciting for me, because this means that we can reinvest those funds into other players. And would you be surprised if we sold Werner and used those funds to sign Chiesa? I wouldn't be. So you guys, that is the second story out the way. Of course, as I said, you'll find a link below to the London is Blue podcast in the description, and to anything to the final story. And this is an interesting one, because this is an exclusive that I just heard today. And to be real with you guys, I haven't really been about dropping exclusive news stories. If I'm being a bit real with you, maybe a little bit cynical too, the last one I released was that Tchouameni one before the reports started coming out, and to be honest, no one even really remembers when I drop anything, to be fair. But I thought this one was an interesting one, and the player involved is Kimpembe from Paris Saint-Germain. Now, this is still very, very early. Don't be quoting me saying that we're guaranteed to be signing Kimpembe, or that he's a big candidate on the list, but from what I've heard from my own personal source, I'm hearing that Kimpembe would prefer to move away from Paris Saint-Germain in the following window. The reason for that is that he wants to play in the Premier League, and his main priority actually is to play alongside Varane at Man United, where he feels very confident that he could kick Maguire out of the team. I mean, I'm not surprised by that. I think Kimpembe and Varane, after how they play for the national team, that could be outstanding. But his second option, and another option, is that he has a great relationship with Thomas Tuchel, a great one. And of course, he would be open to working under his previous manager again. He had a lot of respect from the players at Paris Saint-Germain, even though Tuchel had difficulties with the board and some of the politics behind the scenes there as well too. If the reality becomes a case where Rudiger does end up leaving, then for me, I kind of think from like a footballing perspective, stylistic and tactical one, that Kimpembe is like that ready-made replacement for Rudiger. I mean, Kimpembe for me doesn't get enough credit when it comes to his progressive passing and those line-breaking passes. That left foot out from the back, I think that could open up even more angles for us as well. And for me, I think he's one of the best defenders in Europe. The reality is though, is that even if a player wants to leave Paris Saint-Germain, that does not guarantee anything at all that Paris Saint-Germain would allow the player to leave. I mean, let's look at Kylian Mbappe, for example. It's very extreme, but the fact that he'll be leaving on a free come the end of the season and that they turned down a ridiculous bid from Real Madrid in the last summer window tells you everything you need to know about Paris Saint-Germain and how they view selling players. So this is literally like at its early infancy. Don't be surprised if we see more reports of Kimpembe coming out and like potential interest away, but that doesn't guarantee that he will be sold. But for me, it's interesting that the player is looking at Chelsea and Man United as two strong possibilities to sign for if he does or if he is allowed to leave Paris Saint-Germain. So you guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. I hope you guys did enjoy. As I'm saying, tomorrow I am going to release the match preview for the Watford game in the morning, so stay tuned for that. And on that note, I'm NOOO FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.